It's Byron Belitsos coming to you again, and happy to be back to introduce to you the program we will have on Sunday. So I'm setting this ahead for preparation for a very important talk that will be given by none other than Barbara Newsom, who is arguably the world's leading historian of the Urantia movement. She, along with a few other colleagues, know more than anybody right now, have been around the Chicago scene for decades, and Barbara in particular has been amazingly focused on the problem or on the content, really, of the history of the Urantia movement, which, yes, is a problem because, as you know from even my writings and others, there was a kind of a cloud of secrecy in the early days of the Urantia movement. And I experienced this because I was living in Chicago as a young man, as a student, University of Chicago in the early 70s. So I had occasion to go up to 533 and meet the principals there that were still alive. And some of them were from the forum, and certainly Christie, Dr. Sadler had passed, but Emma Christensen was still there and was one of the original contact commissioners. So I've got my own eyewitness impressions, and this is one reason I'm particularly interested in Barbara Newsom, and have had a wonderful friendship with her for a very long time, over which time we've talked about these topics many ways and many times and in many situations, because it's a fast evolving movement, as it should be, and in certain ways the movement is not evolving in the sense that when one knows one's origins, it's you grow in a more healthy way, and certainly you self-knowledge comes from knowing your childhood. For example, if you're in psychotherapy, you obviously are being asked by the therapist about childhood events. So the childhood of the Urantia movement is something a lot of us don't know much about. I would go so far as to say that there's been a kind of withholding of facts for good reasons in a lot of ways, because folks could be almost overwhelmed by the story of origins of the text and of the papers, when that's really not, that essential. It's more essential, obviously, it's the teachings and the text itself. So we don't want to divert ourselves from the essentials. But on the other hand, it's history is history, and the facts are the facts. And we need to know these things in a certain measure, to be able to intelligently share what the revelation is about. I think that's pretty obvious to people, is it not? And over the years, all these different media appearances I've done, everybody's always asking, about origins. And so it's one reason why I actually wrote my own and published my own essay. It's actually an appendix to one of my books, where I wrote kind of a summary, as I understand it, of the origins of the Urantia movement and of the text. And I have posted that at the Union of Souls website for you to use as reference, really, as a reference text for what's going to happen Sunday. What I've written is out of date, but it's marginally helpful as a reference text against which to compare what you can learn. If you don't have something on your shelf, a lot of people just don't, because there's not much written about the Urantia book, or published in book form anyway, about the Urantia movement history. So if you don't have that, you can just scan what I've written to primer, like a primer. And Barbara's going to then bring sort of the facts that she knows it based on decades of research. There's really nobody else like Barbara Newsom for history, because she was actually formally tasked with that endeavor when she was brought on to actually work at 533 way back in the 1970s after she was in college. So she was actually like an understudy to Emma Christensen, and was, of course, meeting with every day with people in the office there and the members of the forum that were still around, still alive, some working there, some going to the study groups there. Barbara knew these people. And all the way to this moment, Barbara is in touch with those who are still around, and she's of course working with other researchers. And you may know that one of the most important efforts right now is by Marilyn Kulicki and Gard Jameson, which is to write the official history of the Urantia movement on behalf of the Urantia Foundation, which the foundation will publish. And it won't be too long, but it's been over 10 years in the making. And that illustrates the problem that we've got, which is the difficulty with sources. That's what you're going to hear a lot about from Barbara. But basically, some of the source material has not been available, has disappeared, or it just the sort of the vicissitudes of time have removed lots of voices and texts that we need. But there's been a reconstruction effort. It's pursued by many, and but we're going to try to bring it all together on Sunday from Barbara Newsom. And again, please read the reference material that I'm posting at the Substack. But know this, that Barbara's going to actually do a holistic kind of download, really from the beginning, 1906, up until the present. And if we have some time, we might look to the future, because as you know from the Urantia book, origins determine histories, or they are determinative somewhat of the history, which of course is predictive of the destiny. So I hope you join us in this very important inquiry in our ongoing effort to think about and consider better ways to run, operate our Urantia movement at this time of global crisis. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and look for other updates. All the best, and see you soon.